This month of December 3 and Atlas is approaching its maximum to Earth, and it is not by chance that time accelerates. What consequences can this have for you? I tell you about it in this podcast. Hello, how are you? I am very happy to tell you all the energies that will accompany us this December, and that the beings of light have sent us in the form of their messages. Very loving, very practical.
And above all, that they serve us and nourish us in what is our evolutionary path. But first of all, I want to thank you all. In fact, since I was able to reach the final of the Evoluciona 2025 awards, you already know that the phase from semi-finalist to finalist was thanks to your votes. There are many of you. Those of you who have bothered to cast the first vote, confirm the email, then vote again, and all this whole process that was a little long and sometimes a little boring, I sincerely thank all the people who have taken the time to do it, because thanks to this I am in the final, which makes me immensely excited. So nothing. I already tell you that on December 12th I will be in Madrid, in this gala, in these awards, celebrating life and celebrating all the love that we share, which is a lot.
So I'll put you a little in context in case we have lost track of the energies that Mother Earth has experienced, and in this case the sky, not also through the comet and the movements that have occurred in the plane of the stars. In any case, in October, we already had all these earthquakes from Mother Earth, and she was singing to us. You remember that Mother Earth sang us a song and we had to return the song. We also released karmas. Well, in droves, right? With all the energy of the entire month of October and also the beginning of November, it has been a process of preparation precisely for this second phase that we find ourselves now, which is the phase of awakening. Awakening fully is an awakening to the great truths that accompany us. Everyone has its great truth because there is no absolute truth that governs all things. Maybe yes, but they are truths that are a little, ethereal or a little abstract, right? But in the concretion of matter, which in the end we are incarnated, each one has to unveil, discovering its absolute truths, which will always remain. Aligned perfectly with the world around us, there are gears, and although each gear is different, the entire rotten fits perfectly. It is time to release what does not belong to us, so that we can see our truths more and more. Also, realize that as it is outside, it is inside. I know this is sometimes there is one of those phrases that has to be taken with tweezers, but on many occasions. How well the law of the mirror can serve us, that is, those clues, those anecdotes, what catches my attention, because in the end thousands of things happen around me and some don't catch my attention, but something catches my attention. Hey, what's that caught my eye? All of this can be clues, steps, reflections that are born within me and release truths for me.
And where does all this energy come from? Well, the beings of light told us about a very ancient pact. Already in the month of November they told us 3. And Atlas is a promise fulfilled, predicted for thousands of years. So notice that it is something that has already been said, has been perceived for a long time. 3. And Atlas is a comet. Well, it's a body that is in the sky, right? And what does this trail have? It leaves this trail, that's why it's called a kite, because it leaves this trail, right?
Behind it, in any case, it has a unique and particular composition, because it is very, very old. It is older than the Earth, it is older than the solar system, and it also has this composition that acts as a kind of energetic rebalance, not only to each one of us, but in general to the entire Mother Earth. So Tres here is provoking them.
Along with the reception, obviously Mother Earth is like this, with an open heart, giving everything as well and reacting without any type of rejection, not without any type of resistance. It's there. Vibrating it to the maximum is causing us to have these stages of truth, that is, revelations. The beings of light already told us in the month of November. Don't be surprised if you find that there are changes both outside because other people are having small internal revelations as well as inside you.
Don't be surprised if changes happen, because we people are seeing clearly, feeling clearly, perceiving clearly, some things, others the same. Well, on other occasions, maybe not always, because the resistance is sometimes there, and it may be that they win the game. But for now, we are going to celebrate everything that is progressing, and from there, circumstances and situations arise that can be very new.
They were not moving forward in the month of November, and perhaps you have been experiencing it. Personally, I have been able to see it both in people from outside and in my own life. Could it be perceived as there is a restructuring of what? Of everything, because it can be at a work level, at a family level, in love, at a relationship level, how you relate to your body, with your mind, with your spirituality, how you relate to your hobbies. Anyway, it can be at all levels.
So, what's restructuring your whole life? Man, not what's not aligned. If everything is restructured, my goodness, what a mess it can be, as long as there is a lot to adjust there. But in any case, there are many things that are being adjusted. It is not so much that the energy from outside comes to adjust to you, but that you from within cause these adjustments because the revelations are being given to you.
That's why they told us last month, jump off autopilot, jump or life will take you out. Because of course all the gears are being prepared. That is what is happening to you. You're not the only person. Who does it happen to then? Probably members of your family, members with whom people you work with, not people with whom you spend your day to day, are experiencing similar processes and are going to move their gears in what has to be moved. Because the truth, when it's awake, wow.
Sometimes it's hard to turn it around. Well, there are those who specialize in that, but in principle, when you see your truth and open it from the heart to it, really wow, all you have to do is make decisions towards that place, right? In any case, jump off autopilot. I told you, don't always do the same thing. Try to give variety to your daily life precisely so that you can have that flexibility and that vision of what life is asking of you. To be able to adapt your inner truths to the truths that are happening around you and find that new fit, not that new structure. So we've had a month of restructuring and this is not over. Here we are going to continue, because you already know that the energies that accompany us do not go from 1 to 30 of the month. No, it is not nailed down. This is not like with a Chan guillotine. You don't start from one month to the next, but we are going to continue. During this month of December and probably the month of January and February, with these energies, not to restructure everything that has to be restructured, that has to be clear. This restructuring is not born because it is born. It derives from the truth, and so much derives from the truth because I attend to it, listen to it, embrace it and get into it, or so much derives from the truth.
Why am I running from her? Because come on, it generates attention, an overwhelm that you can't see, and I run away in fear, vibrating in fear. So sometimes we can encounter these two scenarios, and the beings of light warn us of it. There will be people who will open up to the truth fantastically, and others who are going to contract. Not that they are going to generate contraction, they are going to generate the same, even rejection, so we have to take it into account.
Both to realize that we are doing it and to realize what is happening around us. Is it important? Because, as I told you before, the gears are being reorganized from the outside and the inside, right? Who are you? Along with what is outside, you have to take into account that there may be some piece that doesn't quite fit. Let's see, we are human, and nothing happens either. I mean, there are those who will still take a little longer.
And there are those who don't. In November, Pam saw the truth. Pam has acted accordingly and is already on that line. No, and of evolution. And there are those who are going to take a little more time and they will be fine. Yes, so in times of transition, let's not expect everyone, neither ourselves nor those outside, to put ourselves in such a place on the first day that we need patience. And above all, well, observing and loving every moment. That's right.
As we see then, this comet in the sky, or this body that in the sky is shown to us as if it were a comet, well, it has this tail. It is not causing us not only a message. The Pleiadian beings already told us 3 islands has a message. The message is change. We are entering a climax transitional phase, which is not a day or a month long. It may take a few years, but it comes to announce to us, no, it is not the first time that things happen in the sky and forecasts are not announced. In this case, 3 talks have to be seen the same with on equipment. In some professional way you cannot go to, you cannot see with the naked eye, that I know so far. And even so, our society is prepared to perceive this news. And not only to know it from the conscious, but also to vibrate it energetically, because, as I told you, its unique composition provokes us as if it were gene therapy, no, in some way. Yeah, working with minerals feels good to us. How can this body in heaven that has so ancient antiquity and that has such a powerful message not sit well with us? The world is ready to change. That's his message. And it doesn't just do it through the message, it also does it through the energy. And I also give you a hand, and here comes the second thing. Not that I started this podcast for you, counting time accelerates. And not only does it not help to see the truth, but since we are there, it somehow gives impetus to the entire solar system. Of course, you don't do it with the Earth alone, what a crazy thing, not if I only did it with the Earth, because then we would be out of tune. We wouldn't be aligned. We are a whole system working in harmony, so the entire solar system accelerates thanks to the step of 3 talks, and also that it is the momentum, it is the moment that is, he doesn't come, no, he comes and touches a button. And thanks to that it happens, it's like that everything fits together, so everything is unity, which I think we already had. Of course it is not something that beings of light repeatedly remind us of. Usually, and this is the case, so both 3 talks tell us the message and help us, Mother Earth. The solar system was the momentum, not accelerating. So, oops, what is this accelerating? What a mess, no, time speeds up again, what a mess. It's not the first time that time speeds up and messes up our hair a little. Let's see, let's put it in context. We are a society that also lives under the influence sometimes of stress. Schedules that sometimes do not fit with our biology because we do not all have the same schedule on the same internal clock, and sometimes we have to adapt to not from 8 to 5, this and that. In short, we are a society that has schedules that sometimes do not fit and that we have to adapt to. And stress, sometimes time slips through our hands, through our fingers. This is a reality. Still, it's not the first time the Earth has accelerated, mind you. Does that mean that the 24 hours of the day will become less? Not exactly. Look, it happens that when the Earth increases its speed, when time speeds up, you can also speed up. So here comes a reflection that is interesting, and I'm not going to start talking about relativity and things like that, although I could because it's a topic that I love. I'm not going in there. But I do want to tell you that in the end time is relative. In the end time is relative. So it depends on how you are entering time. Time passes you slower or faster. I think everyone knows this. Everyone has experienced it. It is true that there are factors, as we said before, stress. As you can see, I am having such a good time that it has flown by. These are reflections only at specific moments. It's understandable. You have not lost track of time because you have entered into, I don't know, fun or being very involved in an issue or due to stress. Hey, looks like time's eating you up. All this is true. But beyond this, when you have the perception that the days are getting shorter and shorter, then you have to ask yourself something. And it is to consider you. I am living under the paradigm of life. And this is a little grandiose reflection, but I'm sure you're understanding the nuances. When you misalign with the alignment of time, time slips away from you more than when you enter to live from the frequency of time. Maybe the example that can be the most obvious, although maybe not the best, but it is the most obvious, so you let me go use it. It's like when we're stressed and time speeds up for us. Oysters, it just doesn't give us time for anything, and when we go calm, hey, it seems that time runs out, that time accompanies us to be able to have whatever we are doing in our hands. In any case, there we can already see relativity. Maybe it's not the best example, because I'm aware that the notion of time on a good mental level is also mismatched with stress. But it's actually not such a bad example either, because stress is actually taking me out of living life. In stress I give so much energy to the mind, to control, to whatever, don't you? That I really disagree with walking, that life gives me honest walking, balanced walking, coherent. So that's why I used this example. I have thought about it, I have consulted it with the beings of light on several occasions, and we are left with this example because others are also less tangible and are more difficult to explain. I wish you could.
Then give this a couple of turns to see which example suits you. But what the beings of light are telling us is precisely this. Time accelerates, but that is not bad. It does not mean that your life is going to be out of balance. It does not mean that instead of 24 hours, in reality time goes faster and therefore you will have 23 hours to do what you did before. You're not going to be the same 24. The thing is, you have to speed up with it.
And when I talk about accelerating you, I'm not talking about going faster and stressed, but precisely about making an evolutionary leap, about making a quantum leap. Because the higher the frequency and the vibration, the more speed there is at the level of dimensions. The higher dimensions always have a higher relative speed. I mean, if we were as observers from the outside, it would give us the feeling that everything is moving faster. Everything is more in unison, right? When we work with energies, everything has faster consequences, everything is more in unison. We can connect with people who are very far away and very, very there in the moment, not everything. When we raise the frequency, it's like faster, but it doesn't mean more stressful, but it's the language itself. And if you enter this language, then you adapt to that speed. And for you, time hasn't changed, it's still the same. It's like when you're inside an airplane and you're traveling super fast, but you hardly notice because you're at a constant speed. Well, something like that is like, maybe we notice the beautiful acceleration that makes our heads go backwards, right? When we accelerate with the car, with the plane, or with whatever, we notice but then once you get into that, you don't even know it anymore. You're there completely normal. Right, well, that's a little bit. Time accelerates, the earth accelerates, the solar system accelerates because it is making an evolutionary leap with an open, expanded heart. You may feel the tug, but get in there. And how are we going to get in there, my dear? Well, very easy actually, nothing you don't know. Common sense first of all, there's nothing we're not prepared for.
In any case, the advice that the beings of light give us for this month of December, briefly those of November, is still in force. They told us, jump off autopilot, don't be surprised if there are changes. Hey, if there are changes and truths that rebel against you and you don't know how to place them. Here I leave you a live broadcast that we did with Mother Maria, who precisely taught us how to resolve this matter, not uncomfortable truths. Where do I put them, okay? They also told us, rest.
If you have exhaustion, you think that nothing is happening, perhaps, but you are experiencing exhaustion without justified cause. In reality, it does have a justified cause for all these special and unique movements that we are experiencing. Now, advice is not given taking into account that time and life are speeding up a little, and that we are in this beautiful leap that our heads go back a little. It opens our hearts. Open your heart. Nothing that we don't know how well you live with an open heart. But if you have an open heart, you will be able to attend to your truth. You will be able to rest if you need it. You will be able to make movements that life asks you. You'll be able to live coherently. What life asks of you is open your heart and be coherent. It's not really complex, but it can be quirky. I don't know exactly what different situations we can get into. Find, but laugh, smile, take out iron. Peculiar things will happen with others. With you, everyone lives it as best they can. Hey, accelerate, not accelerate. Oh, I don't have time. Oh, this and that opens the heart. Love yourself, love it from the outside. How? Well, how are you better at me, for example, things that serve me? Well, it can be through breathing, through having beautiful memories.
Through exercise and sport, it goes very, very well for me because sometimes, hey, I love being a channeler. I love that I professionally do it, but sometimes there is little movement. So I need the exercise to be consistent with what the body asks of me. So sometimes exercise can be the limiting factor. Are you looking for what is the limiting factor in your life? No, maybe you say oysters because I exercise a lot, but what I don't do is stop to breathe.
Or meditate or connect. I don't do that. Well, little things that you see that can help you, put them on your agenda. Now more than ever, open your heart, be coherent. Rose oil helps massage. Listen to have interactions and beautiful experiences. Nature, what opens your heart, what expands it. Each one of us is different. So I am aware that things that, like me, expand me a lot. Maybe not so much for you, so there I ask you to reflect on what makes you feel love. And even like that. Here in the sternum, that we can feel that it opens a little bit, no? That there is the muscle, the bone. You even notice that I know that it opens, that it expands, that you attach a pressure or a sensation there. Then you are on a very good path. Open your heart. And the second example that they give us new for this month of December is celebrate life. Celebrate life. Smile. Obviously, you are going to have to deal with serious things. You still have to do, unfortunately, some type of mourning. No, because there are things that when restructured, well, in the end, there are things that die too, it is true. But even in mourning, one can celebrate life. That's right. It doesn't have to be a fictitious celebration. It is not posturing. It does not go that way because it has to be born from the heart, and posturing does not serve us. So celebrate life in depth and in the context in which you find yourself. Be grateful for the situations, the opportunity to be incarnated. All this is going to free you from fear, because what can make you run away from the truth is none other than fear. So the best way to combat fear is to celebrate life.
That's why student beings say, celebrate. Life is not so much the celebration itself, but fighting the fear that may be moving you away from the truth and can, without wanting to make you move away from your new system, from your new gear. Your whole life is not going to be restructured because at the end of the day, you weren't leaving behind who you were either. It's not that, but some parts may ask you to restructure yourself by celebrating life in context and coherence.
Having your life right now lead you to do it will be the perfect way so that you can then do it from a place where everything fits together. This is how a new puzzle is being rearranged. You may think you're an isolated person in a peculiar society, but you're not. You're part of a big cog, you're part of a new movement.
Of a new birth. If you are listening to this podcast, you probably have an open consciousness to listen to the messages of the beings of light. So with this, you are already a pioneer. You are already a pioneer of this new society that is being born from this change that Trichia class is announcing to us. So let's go for it, opening our hearts, celebrating life.
Hey, letting life be in coherence and in context, and noticing the push that everything speeds up a little, but that little by little and with kindness towards our own processes, you will see how you also enter again into the new frequency of time with an evolutionary leap under the arm that always arrives, full of abundance, full of synchronicities, full of experiences that open our hearts and help us even more to follow our path. Well, so as you can see, this month of December is intense with many opportunities. Also note that on December 19th, 3 Hiaras is at its closest maximum on Earth. The Pleiadians told us, do you think it's a coincidence that the 21st is the solstice of Wow? Hadn't it occurred to me that 2 days later is the solstice by chance? None! It's just how you see Mother Earth.
And the step of 3 talks is in place. Everything is aligned so that I can precisely give you this little push at that moment when Mother Earth is at her climax. not at the winter solstice, here in the northern hemisphere, at the summer solstice in the southern hemisphere. So everything is perfect. Everything is in place when 3 talks have been happening well close to the other planets or closer to the sun, etc., etc.
It has also had its own affections and its own synchronicities. Anyway, here we are. It will be a most entertaining, most loving month of December, so we are going to take it calmly because time accelerates, and when we make it more accelerated, more calmly and coherently, we will be able to get back. It seems like an inconsistency, but it is not at all. So keep it in mind, reflect on what this can mean for you and for the month of December. Come on, go. We are going to close the year on a high. Then, what are the proposals of light and consciousness for this month of December? I'll tell you quickly. If channeling generates curiosity, you should know that channeling is for everyone, that it is something natural, that it is part of the universal language of all things. It's not about 4 scholars or 4. Are there people who have touched us the special gift? Not at all, but we all have this gift. And you have a free guided meditation, so you can check it out, so that in one guided meditation, you can see, hey, that you perceive things that would happen if you also went deeper into it. Well, I'll leave you the free guided meditation.
You have the link below, and also every month, if you wish, you receive a ritualized message for yourself. I have a database of hundreds of messages channeled one-to-one. He took his time. The thing, in any case, is ritualized so that you receive that most perfect message for you during the month of December, so that you can complement with that message all the energies that accompany December.
In any case, you also receive it for free at the same link as with the guided meditation. Then if you feel like delving a little deeper into what channeling is, you have, of course, the course to learn how to channel, You say, hey, with meditation I've perceived things. What if I go a little further? Well, here you have all this opportunity to realize that there are many ways to perceive, and that there are also many beings with whom you can connect, which is fantastic. Well, if you see that this podcast has served you, that it has given you useful advice, that it has helped you give context to what you are experiencing or what you are about to experience, please also share it. Of course, feel free to share, and hey, and I never say this, but it's also very important, they'll tick.
Give it frank. If you feel like it, give it a like. It's very useful to me. It always helps me a lot if you like it, to see what nourishes you the most, what helps you the most, what serves you the most. So for me, this gives me feedback, and it goes very, very well for me. In any case, I send a big hug to you and everyone who listens to this podcast.
And as I said, to celebrate this month of December in full swing, that brings us many opportunities full of synchronicities, truths, restructurings, which may be a little overwhelming, but always have the purpose of bringing us the maximum in our lives. So it'll be worth it. You have no doubt about that. A huge hug. See you soon.